but really you are responsible for your own happiness. Once you realize that, you realize how much power you have, because if you have your own happiness in your hands, that means it's up to you to decide what you need and what you do in order to feel happy. So I truly hope that the message I'm sharing inspires and motivates you to improve your life. Now let's get to the point. Alright y'all, welcome back to another episode of ToDaPointPodcast. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate you being here. Let's talk today about happiness, and this is a topic that we can probably talk about 4 hours, but I'd like to share with you a personal experience I had the other day. So I was in the kitchen doing something basic like making my dinner, and this immense feeling of peace and happiness just rushed through my body. And I have these moments more often compared to like a year ago. And usually when I do have those feelings, I don't really pay attention to it. I just notice it for a while and then I just continue doing what I'm doing. But this time I made a promise to myself that whenever I have this feeling, I'm going to stop whatever it is that I'm doing and really take my time to focus and be aware of that feeling. So this time I stopped and I put my hand on my chest, on my heart, and I stayed with that feeling for a while. And it made me realize again, because like I said before, I experience these feelings more often nowadays. It made me realize that the difference a year can make. A year ago, I really was in a very, very dark place, and I really believed that I would never ever experience that feeling of genuine happiness again. I am now so aware of the fact that how much I've grown and I've healed, and experiencing this feeling without anything really happening is a big win. And maybe this is something you can relate to. Sometimes you go through hard times and you feel like things will never change. But to me, this was a beacon of hope, because if I experience this, I'm pretty sure other people experience this too when going through a hard time or after going through a hard time. So what was going on was, last year I was walking around with past traumas, a broken heart, you name it. Basically everything that can drag you down, but I was running from them, right? Now I can talk about it freely without any uncomfortable feelings. And that's also a sign that you're healing, right? But that is not what the video is about. The video is about happiness, and I know healing is a part of happiness. But my point of sharing this with you is that everything changes, right? Everything changes, seasons change, feelings change, people change, everything changes. And it's amazing to see what time can do for you, right? As long as you don't give up. Back then I used to, and this feels like it has been forever, but it's just like about a year. I used to think that I needed other people to be happy. And the realization came, especially after moments like this, you don't need other people to be happy. Yes, we are social beings, but really you are responsible for your own happiness. Once you realize that, you realize how much power you have, because if you have your own happiness in your hands, that means it's up to you to decide what you need and what you do in order to feel happy. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like you're going to feel happy all the time, but the majority of the time, being dependent on someone else to feel happy puts you in a very, very weak and dangerous position. Because that means that person has the power over you to decide how you're going to feel, and we don't want that. And the crazy thing is, about a year ago, I also knew this, but I wasn't really understanding it, because I've been working on self-development for a while. But you know, sometimes you read things a 1,000 times, but until it really clicks with you, right? That's the moment you actually really understand what you're reading and what you're learning about. But once I realized that, I realized how powerful I am, how great it is to be in control of your own happiness. And yes, life is going to happen no matter what. And there are days you're going to feel a little bit more down than other days, and days are going to feel a little bit darker than other days. But still, for the majority of the time, you are in control of how you feel. That's why I really can't understand when someone says, yeah, you made me angry. That person didn't make you angry. They might have done some shitty things, but you chose anger. Not to say that what they did is right, but you can still choose to respond in a different way, right? When you say, you made me do this, you made me do that, you take all the power you have and you put it into someone else's hands, and that is weak. But anyway, this video is not to judge you about how you respond to other people, but to make you aware of the fact that you have happiness, you have the power in your hands, because you are responsible for your own happiness. And since I'm talking about this topic anyway, I thought it was a good idea to share with you some of the things that I've been doing lately to contribute to my own happiness. And these things are nothing major, nothing special, but because they are small things, sometimes we tend to forget about them, right? So it's good for someone to be here to make you aware of them. Before we get into that, though, I want to say that if you go into a hard time, promise me you will never quit, right? Because if you quit, then you know that that's it. You never give your chance to experience the sunny side of life, right? And by the way, we need to start making peace with the fact that life is something that has its ups and downs, right? It can never go 100% right all the time, and it never goes 100% wrong all the time. It might feel like it. It might feel like you're never catching a break, but we need to make peace with the fact that it is a cycle of highs and lows. It is what it is. That's life. Nothing we can do about it. We just gotta find a way to be strong enough to deal with those changes. Anyway, the first thing I do to increase my sense of happiness is romanticize my life. And this is something that is being used a lot lately, but I've realized the importance of it. What it basically means is to make your ordinary day a little bit extraordinary, right? And you might do this every day, but at the same time, I'm thinking if you do it every day, it's not going to be extraordinary anymore, right? So maybe once, twice a week, or whatever works for you. So what I do is I used to make quick meals, healthy meals, and just eat it, and that's it. But now I take the time to stand in the kitchen, make myself a good meal, present it nicely to myself like you're doing it like in a restaurant, right? If you do that, you enjoy your food more, and it gives you a happy feeling because you're basically taking the time and making a beautiful dish for yourself. It's simple like that. Another thing you can do is, let's say you don't drink wine, but you drink apple juice or whatever, put it in a wine glass, make it a little bit fancy and enjoy that. And that's one of the things I love about one of my brothers is when he drinks wine and I pour it, or I try to pour it in like a simple glass, like he gets mad at me saying, why would you do that? I want my wine glass, because he likes his things fancy, and that's good. You gotta pamper yourself a little bit, no matter how small thing you're trying to do is, right? Another thing is give yourself at least 60 minutes to journal and make that a little bit of a quality time for you. You don't have to do this every day, but use that time like a little bit of a special treatment for yourself, because you're using that time to focus on your mental health, which is also very important. Another example of romanticizing your life is buy yourself flowers. Me personally, I love flowers. I love roses. So every once in a while, I just buy myself a nice bouquet and put it in my living room. So I enjoy it. It makes your living space a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more cozy. And you get to look at beautiful flowers, right? It's a win-win to me, right? And last but not least, when it comes to romanticizing your life, buy yourself luxurious shower foam. Or if you have a bath, buy yourself something to pour in the bath. I like my foam, so I just buy myself a little bit of extra fancy shower foam, and I pamper myself with that. As you can see, small, simple things can make a huge difference. Alright, another thing I like to do to increase my sense of happiness is focus on what gives you joy. I've said this in previous videos a while back. Since I was a little kid, I loved music, and I still do. So for me, something that really, really gives me joy is making music and also listening to music. By the way, if you love music, check out the genre Amapiano. This is basically South African house music. That's the best way for me to describe it right now. Thank me later. This is amazing, man. This is not only about the beat and the melodies, but this is spiritual. So if you're interested, just check it out. Another thing I do when it comes to music is I DJ. I try to do this every weekend. Nothing fancy, but for me, to practice a little bit. I just got started, so anyway, the only way to find out what makes you happy and what gives you joy is to try out different things. So stop overcomplicating things and just try it. The worst thing that can happen is you don't like it, right? Then you try something different. Another thing is meditation. And this is scientifically proven that meditating can increase your sense of well-being, of happiness. It's not only for the spiritual people. This is beneficial to everybody. Because when you meditate, you are focusing in the now. Let it be that focusing in the past or the future is what gives us that feeling of stress, which decreases our sense of happiness, right? So meditate on a regular basis. You can do this every day, whatever floats your boat. But by doing so, you will transform the way you think. You will also transform the way you feel. And this puts you in a higher vibration, which can increase your happiness. Lastly, do not take life so seriously, because you're not going to make it out alive anyway. And I'm not saying this to be negative, but really think about this. We stress over small things the majority of the time, and compare that to how small we are in this huge space, right? In this universe, on this huge planet. Basically, we are merely specks in this universe. And I'm not saying this to say that what you're feeling doesn't matter, but sometimes it really helps to put things in perspective. So yeah, that was the video for today. I hope you found value. I hope you find a way to implement what I just shared with you to increase your feeling of happiness. So if you like the video, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another one.